Hello, welcome. Good morning, Marianne. Good to see you. And Chris, welcome to you too. It's almost light this morning. The days are getting longer. It's just lovely, isn't it, to come out and at this time in the day and to see daylight. I'm looking forward to getting up in the light instead of in the dark. Good morning, Rachel. Hope you're all well. We have a real little sangha or community on these morning meditations, which is lovely. I feel I know you all, and I do know some of you quite well, but others I just know the names and see the messages, but that's carries something really special about it as well. Good morning, Philippa. Good morning, Rose. And Dimple. Hi, Dimple. Just wait a little bit longer. Good morning, Jenny. So good to see you all. So it's just gone 7 o'clock, and we're going to do something different on the Wednesday for a little while. We've been doing this self-care meditation for, I don't know, the best part of 8 months, really. And I wanted to just change things a little bit. We're going to do a loving kindness meditation instead on a Wednesday in future. Very similar in a way, except this is more outward looking rather than inward looking. In a way it's outward looking, but actually it's still inward looking. As we go through our day, as we go through our lives, we have our minds produce lots of views and opinions about other people and about ourselves. And these views and opinions are they're created just by our past conditioning, really. So they're often based on fear and the clinging to wanting to be safe in a way. This fear of not being safe. So we have a tendency as human beings to dislike other people or pull other people down because we want to feel better than we do. That's not a very good way of putting it, but often our dislike and our reactivity to other people is about our own sense of not being good enough, or our own fear of not being good enough, or perhaps some sense that we want to protect ourselves in some way and make ourselves feel better. And what happens is that we have these views of other people, these negative views of other people, that cause us difficulties in our life. They cause us difficulties with other people because we react to them, and they cause us difficulties with ourselves because they're painful. Dislike and irritation and even hatred, though it's a very strong word, they are painful feelings. And the way to counter these painful feelings is to view the world through a much different lens. So this is loving kindness meditation. Ostensibly, it's about wishing everybody well, which it is. It's about going about our day, learning to just wish everybody well, whether we know them or not, whether we like them or not. And if we can do that, we create a positive state of mind. And that positive state of mind is usually free of suffering. Well, always free of suffering. If you've got a positive state of mind, then you don't suffer. So by doing the loving kindness, we're not only creating a loving attitude towards other people, we're also creating conditions for ourselves that are much more positive and comfortable. So I don't know if you can get that, but I think it's really important. And this is a very radical practice. And I might say, to begin with, in loving kindness meditation, we're not trying to flick a switch and suddenly like everybody. It's okay to dislike people. It's okay to not enjoy being with somebody. But we can still wish them well. That's the whole thing. That's the point. We cannot get on with somebody at all. We can have a real painful history with them, but we can still wish them well. So that's really radical, isn't it? And if we can do that, if we can practice doing that so that eventually it becomes second nature, and we have a different attitude to the world. So this takes time, and in the meantime, we need to accept that we don't feel positive about other people all the time, and that's okay. We're not trying to beat ourselves up or criticize ourselves. We're just noticing how it is, and it's okay to have feelings of irritability and dislike and upset towards other people. But just by recognizing those feelings, we begin to change them into something more positive. Anyway, I'm rambling on a bit, so I'll stop there. Just say good morning to Jenny and Vinesh. Well, probably good afternoon, Vinesh, if you're in India. And Michelle and Helen and Sarah. Good morning to you all. It's a delight to see you all. And this is a meditation that we normally do on a Friday, and Joe does this on a Friday, but just for a while we'll do it on a Wednesday as well, because it's a really important and helpful meditation. Okay, so do I need to say anything else? No, I'll lead us through it, and probably doing it slightly differently to the way Joe does it, so that might be useful for those of you that do it on a Friday as well. Okay, So we begin, as always, by just settling in, just arriving in our meditation, lying on our beds, lying on the floor, some of us maybe, sitting in a chair, however we are, just noticing what we feel like. Mentally, emotionally, and physically. So you might be feeling okay, you might be feeling a bit uncomfortable or a bit negative, or you might be feeling very positive and ready for the day. And however you're feeling, as always, it's okay. We don't have to change the way we're feeling. This isn't what meditation is about. We're not trying to become anything. We're just trying to notice how it is right now with a sense of kindness and acceptance. Not getting into any kind of conflict with ourselves. Just being how we are. Noticing the weight of the body on the chair or the bed or the cushion. And just allowing gravity to hold us. Just giving up our weight to whatever we're sitting or lying on. And bringing our awareness to the breath as it comes in and out of the body. Always there. The breath affecting our bodies, affecting the keeping us alive, moving our bodies, particularly our upper body, the chest and the upper back and the sides of the upper body, expanding when we breathe in and contracting when we breathe out. So the out breath, can you notice how easy it is to relax on the out breath? It's a natural relaxing out breath. Just breathing out, the shoulders drop and we can relax. So relaxing on each out breath. Just letting go as the shoulders drop. Letting go a bit more on every out breath. Just letting go of tension. Relaxing the mind too. Not worrying about any thoughts that arise, just letting them come and go as they wish. So this is loving kindness meditation, the metta bhavana. And we begin with ourselves in the first stage. Here on this Wednesday morning, we might begin by just contacting our heart center, that area at the bottom of the rib cage in the center of the body, just behind the ribs. The heart center, the chitta, the source of all our positive emotions. Can you feel any sense of this heart center? It's often a warm, positive feeling. If you can't, you might bring to mind somebody that you love. And just see if something happens. It's okay if it doesn't. You might get a warm, pleasant feeling in the heart center. So the love you have for this person that you brought to mind, or this pet, might be a pet, can we direct that inwards to ourselves? Can we have a sense of acceptance and goodwill and loving kindness to ourselves? Whatever mistakes we make, however imperfect we might be, whatever we would like to change about ourselves, can we acknowledge that we're doing our best in a difficult world? And that however we are at this moment, we're okay. Maybe we can be our own best friend. A part of us always there to support ourselves. Part of us that's always ready to look after the child within, this frightened, unsure part of ourselves. Maybe there's a part of ourselves, this good friend within, that can help us when we start criticizing ourselves. So can we call upon this good friend within? Can we allow it to be there to help us through difficult times, to support us? Can we be our own best friend, always taking care of ourselves? So keeping this best friend, this internal best friend in mind as we go through this meditation. In the second stage, we're going to bring to mind an actual good friend, somebody that we care about, somebody that means a lot to us. Bring them to mind as an image or a sense of them being with you, maybe a memory of them, whatever works. Just bringing them into your meditation and noticing how that makes you feel. Noticing what happens when you think of them. You may find that you get a warm feeling in the heart center, the feeling of love when you bring them to mind. Or there may be something else, something less pleasant. You may remember a falling out or a difficulty. But whatever comes to mind, just accepting that for what it is. Then remembering that this friend does mean a lot to you, and that in many ways they're just like yourself. Just another human being doing their best in the world. Finding life difficult sometimes, finding life joyful at other times. Dealing with problems and difficulties. Having triumphs and successes, just like yourself. So wishing your best friend well, opening your heart to them as a fellow human being. So letting the good friend go for the moment and bringing into your meditation a relative stranger, somebody that you don't see, you don't know very well, but you see fairly often, a neighbour maybe, somebody who you see in the street or in a shop or on public transport. Somebody that you come across quite regularly, but you don't really know them. So just bringing them to mind in whatever way you can. And noticing what happens. What's your response to them? So you might have a connection with them. But if they are a stranger, it's more likely that you don't feel very much towards them. That we have a sense of them almost as two-dimensional. A sense of this person as not touching us in some way. Just a stranger. So there may be very little that we feel about this person. And that's okay. But can we just bring to mind that this person that we don't know very well, this stranger, is very much like us in many ways. They suffer pain and difficulty. They're growing older all the time. And one day, just like us, they will die. They have lives that are very important to them as well. They have their people who love them, people who they love, just like we do. So even though we don't know this person, in some ways we're very close to them in terms of how we feel and how they feel. So can we wish them well in their lives? Can we wish them happiness and freedom from suffering? Letting go of the stranger now for the moment and bringing to mind somebody that we have some difficulty with, somebody that we try to avoid or that we find it difficult being around them. Not somebody we've fallen out with in a big way, but just somebody who we're just uncomfortable with, maybe. So first of all, noticing how that feels. It may bring tension to the body, thinking about this person. It may create discomfort for ourselves. So just acknowledging that the way we see this person creates discomfort for us. We're not trying to begin to like this person. We're not trying to change the way we see them. What we are trying to do is to wish them well. So maybe we can acknowledge that although there are differences between us, although we don't like them, but despite that, we can see that they They too have their ups and downs. They too are happy sometimes and sad the next. They too have disappointments and difficulties in their life. So even though we don't like them, can we have a sense of solidarity with them? Can we wish them well in their lives? Can we wish them happiness in their lives and freedom from suffering? So in the final stage, we're going to bring all four people together. That's ourselves, the good friend, the stranger, and the person that we don't get on with. Just bringing them all together in our imagination. All four human beings doing their best in the world. All of us with our ups and downs. All of us experiencing joy sometimes and upset at other times. Happiness and disappointment. All very similar in many ways. So can we have a sense of well-wishing to all four of us, especially ourselves and the person that we have difficulty with? Can we open our hearts to all four of us? Can we wish all four well? And then can we bring to mind everybody that's meditating with us this morning? Opening our hearts to each other, wishing each other well as we begin the day. Then spreading that goodwill even further, opening our hearts to the whole world, to every single human being in the world, and all animals and birds, water creatures, all living beings, wherever they are, whoever they are. All these living beings, in many ways just like us, just trying to make the way through their lives. Can we open our hearts to each and every one, wishing the whole world well? Having a sense of loving kindness to every living being. This is a poem by Mary Oliver called Wild Geese. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. Okay, that's it for this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Maybe good to remember as you go through the day that when we have these reactions to other people, these judgments and criticisms, just to see what we're doing and just notice that they don't do us any good either, and just allowing a sense of goodwill to arise instead, just to remember, instead of judging or criticizing, to have a sense of somebody else as human beings just like us, and just making that connection if we can. And if we can't, that's fine, but just bearing that in mind, that if we can make this connection, then it's quite radical. It can change the way we see other people, it can change the way other people see us, and it can create different conditions in the world, much more positive conditions. Anyway, okay, so have a good day, take care of yourselves, and I'll be back tomorrow, and we're doing a giving and receiving meditation tomorrow, as usual. Taking out the love of the universe and giving it to ourselves and to others in some way. Okay, lovely to see you. Take care, stay safe, and lots of love to you.